as Americans, we don't really realize the ramifications of war. Sure, we see on the news that people are being bombed overseas, and we're like, oh, that's overseas. Selfishly, as Americans, we don't care. We don't care because we don't see it. We don't see it every single day. We don't see bombs dropping and missiles flying through the air and limbs going left and right. We don't see any of that. But with this new war that we have created, Donald Trump has created a new war, along with Benjamin Netanyahu, fucking Yoo-hoo brain, has created a new war against Iran. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a war that we are going to feel. I went to the grocery store yesterday. I always go to the grocery store probably Friday or Saturday, every week, once a week. And this time, it hit different. Now, ladies and gentlemen, most of the time when people say, I can't believe that gases went up by 7 cents, I'm like, okay, why does it matter? We need to get gas anyways. Why does it matter? I don't care. I don't care. You have to go from A to B. If you can't afford gas, then you can't afford to go wherever it is you need to go. That's a you problem. However, people are going to feel this war in Iran because when I went to the grocery store, at first I was low on deodorant. And so I went to the deodorant aisle, went over there, and deodorant was $17. $17. And I thought to myself, holy shit. Although I can afford it, I started to rebel immediately. I was like, you know what? I'm getting off-brand everything. I will not put up with this chicken shit bullshit. So I got the off-brand deodorant. Then my girlfriend wanted to make chicken Alfredo. And so I got a couple groceries. We just got a couple things. We got enough groceries for 2 meals, basically. And we ate practically all of the chicken Alfredo that we got. And I discovered that America has a massive problem on its hands. And that is our supply chain goes right through the Strait of Hormuz, which is connected to Iran. They are not letting American goods and services get past that strait. They're literally bombing the ships. And that explains why this bread that I picked up was $15. Now, guys, like I said, I'm typically not one to complain about the prices of things because it is what it is. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to complain about it? Are you going to not get gas? Are you going to not get bread? What are you going to do? But now I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a massive, massive tragedy because if you think about it, the average American probably only makes $700 a week. And if their groceries are $300 a week, well, fuck, that only leaves $400. So that's a massive problem, let alone the gas, guys. If you think that groceries are expensive now, if you think that $27 for bananas is expensive right now, wait until the future. We haven't even saw what this could potentially become. And it's all from Donald Trump's fucking stupidity. And trust me, I didn't vote because I never vote. Because to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care. Left, right. I don't give 2 shits. I don't care. It's like football for retards that think that they're political science majors. Politics doesn't matter to me because it doesn't matter whether or not you vote for the right or you vote for the left because both puppets are attached to the same person. No. Doesn't matter. But this shit right here is actually going to affect us. It's not like sending people into Iraq. And I know that many, many Americans died in Iraq. And I'm very sorry for that. If that happened to, I guess it didn't happen to you because you wouldn't be watching this video. But if it happened to someone that you love, then I apologize. It's very, very sad. Genuinely, it's a very sad thing. But we had no business being over there. And furthermore, besides the fallen soldiers that that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and people need to be held accountable for that. But besides that, if you don't if you weren't in a military family, you didn't actually feel the real impact of war. Life went on like normal. We could watch the Johnny Carson show and blah, 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 blah. Everything's fine. Who's going to be the next American Idol winner? It truly didn't matter. But now we're feeling it. We can feel it. They're going to tighten up that strait that basically is in charge of all of our U.S. imports. And for the record, we don't make jack shit here anymore. We don't make anything in America. And so we're fucked. And we can't make anything in America. You know why? Because it's too expensive. It is too expensive. And for a long time, guys, I was thinking to myself, well, it's supply and demand, and it's capitalism at its finest, and so fuck it. We can't be paying people more. We can't. If you only do a minimum wage job, then you should just get minimum wage. It's as simple as that. But I'm starting to come around when it comes to that, because I'm thinking to myself, well, why is minimum wage not able to support a family anyways? Now, I'm not saying that they should be eating caviar and sipping Dom Perignon, but they should be able to survive slightly. It should be difficult, but they should be able to survive. You should give them a fighting chance. And they no longer have a fighting chance. That's why we can't produce anything in America. It's because we've destroyed our fucking dollar. Our dollar is worthless. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why they're trying to get rid of the dollar. That's exactly why they are trying to get rid of the US dollar, is because then they can manipulate it till the cows come home and no one will ever know. And furthermore, they can restrict what you can buy. And I know it sounds like some conspiratorial BS, but if America gets rid of its physical paper fiat currency, then they are going to start dropping hammers on what you can and cannot buy. Imagine going to the store and they'll say, you know what, you've had too much bread this week. We need to share some for everyone else. You can no longer buy this. Click. You're done. Your credit card doesn't work. Because Lord knows that the majority of Americans can't even afford shit with a debit card. They put things that they cannot afford on a credit card to make them more expensive when they couldn't afford them in the first place. How fucked is that? I don't know how to fix this, and I don't think that it's a Donald Trump thing or a Barack Obama thing or a Joe Biden thing. I don't think that it was a Bill Clinton thing. I think that maybe the pedophilia was a Bill Clinton thing, but not when it comes to destroying the US dollar. That goes all the way back to the Civil War. Goes all the way back to the Civil War, and there's nothing we can do about it. One president in particular wanted to break away from the interest-bearing note backed by the Federal Reserve, and guess what happened to that president? Well, ladies and gentlemen, he got shot in the head in public in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. That was JFK. Oh, for the record, what's the other president that wanted to finally end the central banking institute? Let me think about that for a minute. Who is the other president that also got shot in public? Oh, Abraham Lincoln. The founding fathers talked about explicitly, these men, although they had slaves and they were despicable, deplorable people, let's say, blah, 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 blah. They're a point. They were a product of their time, ladies and gentlemen, and they were very, very intelligent, practically more intelligent than any politician we've had since. They were very, very wise. Now, I don't know if it's because they didn't have to do anything else because they had slaves, and so they could just sit around like Aristotle and think about the future, or if they were just brilliantly gifted, and I think that is probably the latter. These men said, do not let anyone else control your currency. Don't do it. And what did we do? We're greedy and we want things right now. And it's not only the politicians' fault, but it's our fault because we wanted things we couldn't afford. Why do you think that the housing market is so high up right now? Why do you think that it's so abundantly absurd? And why no one can afford houses? Well, it's because the housing market isn't relying on supply and demand anymore. Supply and demand is buying and selling things that you can afford. The second you start to pull out mortgages and debt, mortgage is a fancy word for debt. Debt. Do you know that just a couple generations ago, you didn't have to have a mortgage to take out a house? To buy a house, you didn't need a mortgage. it was probably 3 years, 5 years salary for the average everyday American. And I'm not talking about the CEO of Boeing here. I'm talking about the average everyday American, the person that worked for the post office, or the person that worked in a factory, or the whatever it may be. The average everyday American, the cab driver, all of these people, the person that worked at the grocery store clerk. And for the record, they could buy that in cash based on one income. Now it takes two. And for all you ladies out there that are thinking to yourselves, man, I need a man that's 6'5" and in finance and makes $1 million a year. That is not practical, ladies, because then we're going to flip it back on you and we're going to say, you know what? Well, we don't want you with kids. That's used goods. I don't buy used underwear. I don't want used women. So you're out of here. If you're over the age of 23, you're gone. They're just going to start Leo DiCaprioing people, and then women are going to get very upset because, oh, you don't cook and clean? Let me find someone else. And so let's not play those games. Let's instead go slightly deeper into why this has happened in the first place. And the reason why you need such a Billy Badass of a man, someone that makes probably at least over $150 a year, the reason why you need that as reassurance to have some sort of safety net within your lives is because they have fucked with our currency. They've absolutely fucked our currency into oblivion. They've done everything they can do to our currency. I'm talking about the backstroke. I'm talking about doggy style. I'm talking about the reverse cowgirl. They have fucked our currency into oblivion. It is somewhere out in the stratosphere. What used to be, now it's just a hollow shell of an economy because our dollar isn't backed by anything. It's not backed by gold, guys. Our dollar is not backed by gold. When Elon Musk went in with Doge and he wanted to fix America, he wanted to clean it up. He wanted to take a look at exactly what preposterous nature is going on within our debt. Well, guess what happened? He ended up about 2 weeks later with him and all of his autistic 18-year-old buddies that were programmers from MIT getting kicked the fuck out of the White House, and Elon ended up with a black eye. And you know what he said? The second he left, he said on X, well, fuck Donald Trump, and for the record, he is in the Epstein files. Have a nice night. Bink. That's it. How the fuck did that happen? Elon Musk goes in there, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he realizes that there's absolutely nothing he can do, because if he starts to go after these institutions that are fucking us and increasing our debt, then everything he's worked for and everything that he plans to do in the future, including going to Mars, is going to go right down the toilet. It's going to go right down the toilet. And so we can't do anything about it. We can't do anything about it. But you know what we can do? We can petition to stop this war. What the fuck did Iran do to us? I don't know one single Iranian. Mustafa. I don't know anyone from over there. And furthermore, I do not like what Israel has been doing. They have been very, very bad. As their big brother, we need to bend them over and give them a spanking. We need to give them a motherfucking spanking because they've been bad. They've gotten us into countless wars and we're sick of it. We're over it. We're done with it. I don't know one Iranian person. And yeah, they are pretty upset at us right now, but I would be upset too if you bombed the fuck out of us and killed our prime minister or practically their president. You can't just do that. If someone did that to us, that would be grounds for World War III. It would be absolute chaos. So I think they've handled it pretty good. And for the record, you can't blame it on Muslims, guys. Blaming it on Muslims is like Muslims, or like any other, let's take it back from the caveman days to people that are actually logical and reasonable. It's like the Netherlands looking at America and being like, these Christians are crazy. Look at what it says in their book. It says that they have to stone their wife to death on their father's doorstep if they're not a virgin on their wedding night. That's what we're doing to Muslims, guys. The majority of Muslims are very, very peaceful, very good people. They have nonsense in books just like any other nonsense in books, going back to Harry Potter or Alice in Wonderland or the Chronicles of Narnia. They're books. But They only get radicalized when we do things that will radicalize them. If I had a bomb dropped on my head as I was cooking eggs one summer morning and it killed half my family and left me paralyzed on the right side of my body, then yeah, jihad it is. I would like to commend and command upon the word of instilling jihad now against the evil corporation that is the United States of America, and I can't blame them for doing that. It's not the book that is radicalizing them, it's us bombing the shit out of them and destroying everything they know and love. That's what we're doing. That's the problem with this whole debacle that's going on. So do they hate us? It's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do they hate us because they ain't us? Or do they hate us because of a book? Or is it because we're fucking murdering them and we're dropping bombs on them because they won't invest in the U.S. sensibilities that hold up our economy? They're not investing in the U.S. dollar. They're not accepting the U.S. dollar. They're not accepting the U.S. trade deals. And they're not doing it because they're not fooled anymore. The U.S. dollar isn't worth shit. We've done the same thing that ancient Rome did, the same thing that ancient Greece did, the same thing that Germany did. And guess what came out of that? Adolf Hitler. That's damn right. There's also some good things that came out of that, like Hugo Boss. Pretty stylish clothes, if I do say so myself. Especially their suits. I like their suits. We have the Autobahn, which is great. We have Mercedes-Benz. We have Adidas and Puma. They're great. Adolf Hitler also did some very bad things, which we don't have to speak about. But the fact of the matter is that type of bullshit nonsense all comes back to our economy. And so when you start to cry that your gas is so expensive and that your food is so expensive and you have to pay $20 for a loaf of bread, I'm feeling like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if you guys have seen it, the original one. Gene Wilder, or you could even go to the one with Johnny Depp. Not the new one with this kid, that little twink kid, where he's like in a musical. I'm talking about the OG Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where they're all sitting in a one-bedroom house that's falling apart, and Charlie is living with his mother, probably a single mom, I don't remember. She could get it. She need to take a bath first, but she can get it. And then also their grandparents, and they're like sharing a piece of chocolate. It's so scrumptious. That's how people are going to feel in the United States if they keep it up, because it's going to be way too expensive to survive. They won't be able to survive. They won't be able to survive. And so what can we do about it, guys? Well, you could say to the President of the United States and whoever actually runs this debacle, because clearly it isn't him. Clearly it isn't him. You need to tell them that we have had it. No more war. We will not fight for you. I think that in the future, if a leader wants to go to war, they have to sacrifice someone that they love. They have to put some skin in the game. Like if Donald Trump wants to sign us into a war that we don't want, he has to take out maybe his oldest of kin. He has to put some skin in the game, guys. He has to. And he'll really think about that twice. Whether or not he wants to sacrifice American lives while eating the finest of foods in Mar-a-Lago, which, by the way, that's where Netanyahu is right now. He's hiding for his life, like a Where's Waldo, Tel Aviv edition, because they're trying to bomb the shit out of him. Because they're like, and I don't blame them, they're like, you killed our leader, I'm going to kill you. And so he better run. He better run. And I don't know why the fuck we're hiding him. He's the motherfucker that caused all this nonsense to begin with. I mean, if a bomb got dropped on him tomorrow, I can't say that I'd be extremely upset. In fact, my life would probably get slightly better. And it's funny how a man from another country can impact Americans so much. Why are we protecting this man? And this goes out to my team, my political team, the Republicans, because the Democrats have lost their fucking mind. I'm not trying to get them anymore. Take your blue hair and take your vitamin water and take your pronouns and go get fucked. Go away. Go away. They, them, get out of here. I'm talking about the only rational people we have left. And the truth is that the Republicans are just as fucked. They're just fucking us from a different direction. But it's not like they're any better. They're not any better. They're still taking advantage of us. They're still putting in the Peter Thiel way of life, to where I guarantee you what's going to happen. And trust me, guys, mark my words. What is going to happen, because it's not the president that decides anything. that happens here. You know what it is? It's the people in the background controlling the puppets. And so, do you know what's going to happen? They are going to implement a crackdown on our civil liberties like we've never seen before, of which we have never seen the likes of before. If you think that the Patriot Act was bad, what Edward Snowden leaked out, and by the record, he didn't leak it like he was a whistleblower in a negligent way. He did everything he could. He's the most patriotic American ever. And what did we do? We forced him to go to Russia, and he wasn't even supposed to go to Russia. Then we blocked him down to where he couldn't leave Russia, and then we called him a Russian spy. And he is American as American comes. He is American as French fries or a hamburger. For the record, French fries, bank, hamburger from Hamburg, but you get the point. He's American. And that's what we did to him because he wanted to talk about how they are absolutely spying on us. The NSA is spying on us. The American government knows everything about you. They know everything about you. They know everything. They know things about you that you don't know about yourself. Do you know how they got to Osama bin Laden? They could tell that it was him based on his heartbeat through cement walls. They could detect his heartbeat, and everyone, just like a fingerprint, has a very unique heartbeat. And that's how they knew that they had the right guy. That's how they knew. Do you think they're not holding that information about you and about me right now? Of course they are. They know everything. Don't take a 23andMe. Don't give them anything more than what you have to give them. Be as anonymous as possible because they will use that against you and it will come back to plague your life. That's what they're about to do. Peter Thiel, all these motherfuckers that got our current politicians elected behind the scenes. And I love Elon very much, but he is guilty of it too. He's guilty of it too. All of these people, Palmer Luckey, they're all planning for something. NVIDIA, they're all planning for the Patriot Act Part 2. They're going to say that you should be afraid because something is going to happen that's super bad in America. Maybe it'll be Iran, maybe it'll be someone else, maybe it'll be China or Russia. But either way, something's going to happen, and they say, if you want to be safe, you have to trust us. And we're going to be cowering. Oh my God, help me, please. Oh my God, I'm not safe. I'm scared. And then guess what's going to happen? They're going to fucking take everything that made America special and they're going to throw it down the drain, all in the name of safety. But it's not safety. It's not security. It's control. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And so if you think that the United States is fucked, then you have absolutely no idea. This is what this channel should be about, to explain exactly what is wrong with America and furthermore, exactly how to fix it. So thank you very much for listening. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and check out my other videos. Subscribe, please. I'm not getting paid for this at all. Trust me. I've cursed too much and I've talked about the Jews. So there goes all my monetization. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and a nice night.